Turning out the latest sentiment on ARM Holdings. Wall Street analysts initiating coverage of the company after its recent IPO. ARM seeing a flurry of upbeat coverage among some more cautious notes. ARM interesting, Julie, because we know there were some concerns here about valuation, about, of course, the smartphone market, which has slowed. But it seems like analysts with these initial coverage initiations, at least selling some buys here, the equivalent of buys. Jefferies, for example, likes the fact that they're expanding its portfolio to include CPUs for the data center market. And remember, when we talked to the CEO of ARM, Rene Haas, that was one of the points he made. Is like, listen, we're not just smartphones. We're moving hard and fast into new verticals. At least some analysts are sold on that.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the analysts were pretty sold on it. Although there were, I think, a couple of holds out there, concerns about valuation. As we know, also the stock hasn't gone up in a straight line. In fact, it's gone down more or less since the IPO, but it does seem like overall there is even what was fascinating to me is that in some of these initiations I was reading, AI wasn't the thing that was sort of emphasized, even though that was before the IPO one of the selling points. It was more just that ARM is sort of a vital part of the semiconductor ecosystem in its architecture that it's responsible for.
Yeah, there are, when you talk to analysts, here's what they'll say about AI. And it's true, ARM did push that. What they'll say is, listen, they'll kind of describe it as a secondary player. In other words, They'll say, well, NVIDIA, with some of its new data center chips, it's combining its GPUs with ARM CPUs. In other words, it is a player. How much that story holds up and convinces investors, we'll see.
Yes, we will. There's one more mover that we want to talk about, and that is Rivian. Facing some heat as Wedbush slashed its price target on the stock to $25. Analyst Dan Ives over there noting the company's $1.5 billion convertible debt offering, delivering another gut punch to investors. What I find funny about this, and all respect to Dan, who's a friend of the show, $25 is still above where, he's still an outperformer.
He's got an outperformer. He's still a buyer, takes his target down. I think what he says here, he's still a believer long term. He still is a believer in the growth prospects, but his confidence, he says, has taken a bit of a hit, although not enough to change the rating.
He said, one more. It's like the kids in the back of the car. One more time, one more big misstep, he says, like this convertible offering, would be the final straw that broke the camel's back for many bulls, including ourselves. So, this is your last chance, Rivian.
It's exactly what I tell my 4-year-old. One more time, Sid.
One more time.
So Ives will say...
Then do you follow through?
No, she was on my total pushover.
So this is the question. Will Ives follow through?
She's already got my number. I will say Ives not alone, though. 60% of analysts still like this name. They still think it's a buy.
We'll see.
A lot of confidence.